Well, hello everyone and welcome to Speaking of Diamonds. My name is Rich and I'm here today with another installment of the Diamond Painting 101 series. Today, since we've talked about where to buy diamond paintings, the type of diamond paintings, things like that, I wanted to talk about what you do when you first get your diamond painting and sort of canvas preparation. Now, I'm going to use this small diamond painting I have here just for the sake of space here, but the rules, or not the rules, the tips I'm going to give or speak about are applicable to any size canvas, okay? So it doesn't have to be a small one, doesn't have to be a huge one. It could fit on any canvas. It could work for any canvas. Now also, I'm going to give some things that I've seen people do when prepping their canvas. Doesn't mean I necessarily do them. So one of the things I want to stress, because this is one of the main questions I always see in the Facebook groups and stuff, is how do you work with a canvas? How do you work with a canvas? How do you work with a canvas? And really the answer is you work with a canvas however it is easiest for you and most enjoyable for you. So let me go ahead and take this out. So when you get diamond painting, you are typically going to have a couple parts. You're going to have your canvas, but then you're also going to have some type of sticker sheet, usually that has your colors on it. As you can see, this one is a handbook for recently deceased from Jaded Gem Shop. I love Beetlejuice, and I said I need to have this, and it only has 3 colors, but it's a very small painting. It's only 5 by 32. So, what, really? Okay. No, I think it's more than that. 22.5 by 32.25. Okay. So I don't know what that is. So this is a small one. This is going to actually work out well. I'm thinking of traveling with this one, so it'll give me something to work on, but I won't be carrying a big bulky canvas or a bunch of drills in containers and stuff like that. Then Jade just happens to give out some release paper if you choose to use it. We'll talk a little bit about why you may want to use release paper in just a little bit. And then you're going to get your drills. And like I said, you have your canvas. Now, some companies will give you a toolkit. Some companies will actually give you the option to get a toolkit or not, okay? I'm saving the toolkit till the next video, because in the next video, I'm going to talk about potential upgrades from the toolkit and things that you may want to consider and things that just, in my opinion, aren't worth it. So let's focus on getting ready to work on our canvas. So let me go ahead and just roll this back here to get it to straighten out. All right. Are You Deceased by the Witchy Stitcher. Yeah, this is going to be fun. And this is nice. It's a nice size. This will keep me busy for, a couple hours, I'm sure. And it'll be a easy canvas to complete. All right, so you will hear the term, oh, I got to kit up my painting. So what does kitting up mean? Well, that's this whole process of preparing your canvas, preparing your drills and things like that. So the first thing I'm doing here is I am just, you may not have seen it, but there were some ripples in the canvas that the canvases from good shops are meant to self-flatten. In this instance, it just seemed like maybe it was crinkled up with the plastic a little bit. So I just took half the plastic off and then I smoothed it down, did it with the other side, and now it's super smooth on top. And this will also help flatten the canvas a little bit too, just in case that plastic was like pulling together the canvas together to make any gaps. So that's pretty much you know, that's like one of the first things you probably going to do is you want to look at your canvas and be like, okay, you know, okay, there's going to be a lot of color blocking. This is all color blocking, essentially, some line blocking in the names, obviously. And, you know, I'm looking for, gee, is there anything on here that I can bling out? And there certainly is. But again, knowing that I'm going to be traveling with this, I don't know that I'm going to bring along any extra drills. So when you kit up, part of the process of kitting up, and I've shown this in another video, and I'll be doing a whip and kit, where I kit up one of my paintings. But essentially, you're going to take your drills out of you know, the packaging that they came in, and you're going to get them ready for you to work with them. Now that can mean a couple things. That means that you're going to put them into like an art dot container that may be in like one of those suitcases. You may put it into a tray bricks. You may put it into a confetti tower. You may put it into they're referred to as Harbor Freight type containers, those square containers. However you normally kit up your painting, you know, with your preference, that's what you're going to do at this point. Now, some people will just work out of the bags as well. And let me get out. This is actually my kit up sort of like system here that I use for larger paintings. But essentially you can get holders that look just like this. The holes or the slots are a little bit more narrow, and you could actually put the baggies in there and you can work right from the baggies. Now this one isn't baggies. This happens to be like the shrink wrapped, the heat sealed bags. So the problem with these is that once you open them, they're prone to spill everywhere because there's no way to close them again. Like with a baggie, there's a seal on it, right? You can seal the bag again. With these, there's really no way to do that unless you have some type of sealer. And this is a sealer for, you know, like chip bags and stuff like that. But it'll work on these as well. And what you do is you just sort of get it ready and then you hold it together, and this area heats up, and you just run it along the side of the bag and it will seal your bag. The problem with doing this on here is that you're going to be opening these a lot, right? Quite often. And you're going to run out of room eventually to heat seal. So these in particular, typically people put in some type of vessel in which they're going to work from for their painting. The choice of vessel, I think I talked about in my video about finding the perfect system, where I said that I really like the tray brick system. Went over some other options and stuff, but it's completely up to you, and I encourage you to try different ways to kit up to find one that works best for you. I've been painting for almost 7 years now. I'm used to using the art dot containers and stuff like that, but then the tray bricks came out, and I decided that I like those even more because I'm not having to pour drills out of the bottle into a tray, then from the tray back into the bottle, switch the bottle, repeat, right? I can just reach up and pull a tray bricks off of the rack in front of me. All right, so once you do the kit up as far as, sorry, trying to get that back in the drawer. So once you've gone ahead and taken your drills, let's talk a little bit more about some canvas prep. One thing you want to know is you do not remove the plastic cover all at once. Now, with a small picture like this, it's definitely much more manageable, but if you have anything larger than this, you're going to have a huge old exposed drill field with the glue on it that everything's going to be sticking to, and you want to sort of just control how much of the stickiness is free to adhere to things. So typically what you do is you're just going to peel it back as you work on sections and leave it on there. There are some other ways to handle that I'll talk about in a second, but one of the things that a lot of people do is they get out their washi tape. Now, you may have seen washi tape included in some diamond painting kits before, and a lot of times people were like, why am I getting washi tape? So for two reasons. Number one, to keep your canvas clean, and number two, to help section off your canvas. So let's talk about keeping your canvas clean. So here, when I look at this, the glue field, it extends maybe a quarter of an inch or so past the symbols, okay? Because they don't want to risk, you know, not gluing all the way up to the side so your side drills are falling off and stuff like that. So there's just a little bit of glue outside of the actual image. Now, imagine you got all your drills down here, but we keep coming up, keep coming up, keep coming up. What's happening here? I'm getting my sleeve all over the glue, which is going to be annoying because it's probably going to stick once in a while and we'll be like, oh, come on. But all the fur, and the dust and the fuzz that's on my long sleeve shirt, or even like skin oils and stuff like that, is going to get on the glue outside of the drills, and it may just pick up some dust and what have you, and it doesn't look great. So one of the things that people do to keep their canvases clean is they take their washi tape and you just run it along the side of your diamond painting, leaving as little gap as possible, just enough to sort of cover that that extra glue, but still leave a full square for your drills. So let me go ahead and do that around all four corners. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, but washi tape doesn't stick. Well, washi tape isn't meant to be, isn't meant to be like a permanent adhesive tape. It is meant to come off things. Now, a couple things about that. First of all, you are applying this tape to part of the glue field, which is very sticky. So the tape is going to pretty much stick very well wherever it's on the glue. But the minute it gets off the glue, like on the corners here, this may start to peel. Some washi tapes work better than others, okay? Hate to break it to you, but the freebies that come with the paintings typically are not like the highest quality because they are a freebie. But some of them are great. But you can also buy washi tape at stationery stores, whether online or in brick and mortar. And some companies some diamond painting companies actually offer their own sort of line of washi tape as well. And it works very well. So I'm just going to go ahead and putting this down. Okay. Now you, of course, may want to be more precise on the corners and cut your tape and stuff like that. That's absolutely up to you. I'll bring this back down. So here is our sort of canvas ready to be worked on. That's going to keep the sides a little bit clean. Now, what happens if your washi tape is coming up on the corners? Then what you need to do, or what you want to do, is you're just going to take a piece of good old Scotch tape and just wrap it, hit it right there. Now that's not going anywhere, okay? You put this down here and it's going to keep it in place. Now you can keep this tape in place when you're done. You can take it off when you're done. Like for items that I'm just going to store, I typically leave it on. For items that I'm going to maybe frame or dry mount or something, I may leave it on because this is going to get cut off anyhow, but I also sometimes take it off. To take this tape off, you're going to peel it, but just know that when you get into where it's stuck to the glue field, that's going to not remove as easily. So you may want to do just sort of quick, small pieces to get it off, but it should all come off. And if a piece sticks into the glue field, just take your murder tweezers and get in there and sort of scrape it off. What else do we use washi tape for? Well, some people will use it to section their diamond painting. So let's take a look at that. Before we go there, let me just answer one question. A lot of people say, how do you work? Do you start at the top or you start at the bottom? You start wherever you're most comfortable, okay? I personally like to start at the top because then my arm is not going over any drills. There's no drills bent over the side of my desk here, okay, because this is hanging over just a little bit. And my workspace is up here in front of me. Some people choose to work down here and then come, bring it down as they're working. Whatever works best for you. You also always have the option of flipping your canvas. Now you could flip it this way or you could flip it this way, okay? You can, yes, it's gonna be a little weird looking at your symbols upside down, but you will get used to it really quick. Or if you are working this way, you'll get used to working on the symbols sideways as well. One thing I do want to mention is if you are flipping your canvas, which a lot of people do, I don't have enough space to work on some of the large canvases that I use or that I like to do. So I'm constantly flipping canvases, or I'm rolling up one end of the canvas and sort of tucking it under my desk around a pool noodle, things like that. But rolling, flipping, all the good stuff, all of those are fair game to make sure that your painting is on your table in a comfortable position for which you to paint, okay? So I may decide to work like this. Now, I said earlier you don't want to take the plastic all the way off. So what are some of your options? Well, I could just peel it back this way and now come in and work on this stripe here. Although I will say that going over here, I'm probably pushing my hand down into the glue field here, or at least putting my finger down. And that's why I do use a silicone thimble so that my finger doesn't stick as much to the glue. You can see how that actually, you can hear it. And when I wear the thimble, not so much, okay? So you could certainly do that and then put the plastic back and then pull the plastic down and continue as you go down or up the painting. The challenge with that is sometimes, now Jade has this really great plastic cover. Okay, it's nice and thick. Some places have really thin plastic covers, so with you pulling it back and forth, it may give out or it makes such a crinkly noise. It's like that every time you're pulling it down and stuff like that, and it just may drive you crazy. So, couple things. You may want to section your painting off using washi tape. So the way people do that is they decide how large of a spot they like to work on. And this is something that you will eventually develop your preference, depending on how new you are to diamond painting. So let's say I like to work on pretty much like from the top of this word up. That's the type row that I want to have. So what I can do is I can take my washi tape, I can roll it across here. And now I'm lining the tape up. And this is a bit of sometimes a challenge. I want to line it up sort of like I did around the sides so that it's covering what I want it to cover, but I still have a whole square in which to diamond paint. So here I've automatically created a section. I can then come through and make a section like this. okay? So now I have, and I would continue down with my rows. I could put this into thirds this way. Half is probably going to be great. I can put, break this down into maybe 4 more rows here. Now, one of the things you want to pay attention to is washi tape is where it will typically fail the most is adhering to the plastic like this sometimes, all right? And sometimes it will start pulling up from the edges. So what I do is I just run it maybe just a 1/4 inch or a little bit more off the corners, and then I roll it around, or wrap it around to the back of the canvas. This typically keeps it secure to the canvas. Not always, but for the most part, it does. If it comes up, again, take some Scotch tape and just put it on the corner, on the edge of the painting here. So now that I've sectioned my painting, what people will do is they will come in either with a X-Acto knife, or this is a ceramic cutter, and they would come in and they would cut down the tape, okay? So you cut this, and then you could pull it back and fold it down, and here's your glue field that you're going to be working at. So your hand can be resting over here, whatever you need to do. When you fold this down, that's where a cover minder can come in handy. Some places still send cover minders, some places don't, but you'll see them on a number of different sites. But when you fold this down, you take the cover minder and you put the magnet underneath, then you put the cover minder on top, and you can just sort of hold that plastic underneath the cover minder, okay? Let's see. And then when I'm done with it, I'm just going to go ahead and I can cut this off and then remove that plastic altogether and then move on to my next spot. Now, a couple things. Be very careful if you choose to do this. Be very careful with both your X-Acto knife or if you're using a ceramic cutter. I have seen people actually cut their canvases with the ceramic cutter, even though it was like, oh, the ceramic cutter, use that, it's not going to cut your canvas. It can. If you're pushing hard enough, you can cut through your canvas. Now, what I find is that I have trouble, for whatever reason, keeping everything straight to come down here. Like when it gets into the plastic, it like wants to go all over the place. So I personally don't use this method. I use a release paper method, which we'll look at in just a second. But that's how you can section off your painting with the washi tape and then get to work. Okay, another use for washi tape, just as an aside, is if you use any type of containers or if you use trays and stuff like that, you put down washi tape first, and then you put your sticker labels for your colors, you put that over it. What that does is, number one, it helps the label stick a little bit better so that it's not peeling up as you're working with it. But also some companies don't use like a temporary sticker paper. It's more of a permanent sticker paper. So when you go to pull it off, all of a sudden you're getting gunk and paper left on your tray, and it just gunks it up a little bit. So I like to put washi tape down, and then I'm just taking it on and off from the washi tape. And then worst comes to worst, if I need to take off the washi tape to get the label off, the washi tape is going to leave it clean, because remember, this is not a strong adhesive. Now these happen to be removable labels, that's why, and these are for my like leftover drills that I keep put away. So that's why I don't use washi tape here. But when I do kit up into those bottles, I do put a row of washi tape down. All right, so that's one way that you can prep your canvas. Let's talk about another way, which is using release papers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the middle row here. And this washi paper, I thought it was very apropos. Have fun with your diamond painting and your accessories. This is like Halloween books. So there's like a runes book, fairy tales, and it's, you know, black and white and stuff. And I'm working on a book, so I thought, oh, this is gonna go, I'm gonna use this, okay? I sort of hate to waste that piece. I'm gonna put it over here and try and use it when I'm done. Now, the other way that you could work is you could work using release papers. Now, Jade happened to give some release papers here, but you can also get release papers from a number of different vendors that are on Etsy or have their own sites. DAC sells their own release paper as well. You just need to figure out which one works best for you. You can also use parchment paper, not wax paper, parchment paper, right from your kitchen. You can put on here and it will come off the glue field. Now, the way that I typically like to work, first of all, I would cut these down. I don't work on this large of a section. If anything, I would work on, sorry, I would work on something that's this size, so definitely I would be cutting this in half. But my preference lately is they've started, the different stores have started making available these 4x4 papers. So here's one, and it's a perfect square, and I could put it down and it's gonna stay there. Now, why use release papers? Well, because first of all, you're covering the glue where you may be touching it and stuff like that. But also, what I like about release papers is I know on my typical diamond painting session after work, I can get one square done. So when I put down that, I know it's going to take me 1 weekday, 2 weekdays, and then, you know, I probably would knock that out at the same time. So I need at least 2 weekdays, 2 weekday evenings to get through a stripe. So now I can start thinking about, okay, when am I going to have this done? Am I going to get it done in time for, if I'm doing it for an event, if I have another canvas that I want to get to, whatever the case may be, you can sort of calculate. You can also calculate it if you tape it off as well, once you know how long it takes you to complete those areas. But that's the benefit of sectioning off your painting, is you can sort of see how long it's going to take you to do the painting once you know how long it takes you to do a section or a release paper. Now, what I typically do is I will, let me go ahead and get this one up. Well, this one I will reuse for sure, but let me pull back this plastic here. Now, let's see. There are also papers that are much smaller. They even have like a 3x3 square some places, but they have smaller pages like this. Whatever works for you with your preference, that is the size sections you want to make, or release papers that you want to use. So I'm looking here and I don't have anything particularly Halloween-y, so I'm just going to use these sorcerer ones here. Well, sorcery and looks like winter. But what I may do is I'll come in and I'm going to just line this up. I like to make sure my sections are lined up, whether I'm using washi tape or release papers. And come through here, boom, and then this one, I'm just going to use a little bit to cover it, okay? Now what I do, personally, is I then take my washi tape and run it along the bottom, because it's hard to see where the plastic starts and stops, and now I've just given it a visible edge. Then what I do is I come in and I will cut this plastic off, but I don't use a blade because I don't want to cut my canvas. What I use, I think I've shown this before, is my seam ripper. Red dot down, you're going to just run this across, zoop, and then your plastic is gone, and now you have your release papers and you're ready to work on your canvas. Now, why not put release papers all over your canvas? Just take the entire plastic off. I advise against doing that, and this is why. Here's the diamond painting. Let's assume it's a big diamond painting. I have release papers all over it. Now I bend it over the edge of my table because I have no place to put all of this. My release paper is lifting up just ever so slightly, okay, because it's not, permanently attached to the canvas. It's going to come up a little bit. So what's going to happen is if I rub up against this, I'm going to be pulling the paper up. I'm going to be pulling the paper down. I'm going to be exposing the glue field to whether it's my shirt or my arm or what have you. So release papers put on the whole thing, in my experience, cause a little bit more frustration than they do when you're just putting them in the immediate area in which you're going to work. Okay. If you don't like the plastic and you want to take it off, you could again use, there are the very big sheets like this, okay, but you're going to have the same problem here where they're going to start to curl up on the ends and expose the glue field. But again, you could use your parchment paper and put it down, or there is actually on Amazon and some other sites, if you just search for like diamond painting release cover paint or something like that, there's rolls of like white paper that you can put over it, and it will keep everything covered without having areas that are pulling up. There are also, and I forgot to grab one, but if you've ever watched like a cooking show and they're going to bake something and they put down what's called silpat or some type of silicone liner, and then they may like, pipe the dough, like I'm thinking of like cream puffs and eclairs, and now I'm hungry, that sometimes they'll take the pâte à choux and they'll and what it's doing is that silicone is not going to allow anything to stick or over brown, really. You can use those things, the silicone, stick them to the glue field, and they'll come right off. I've seen people use big ones, little ones. People have cut the big ones into small ones. Whatever works best for you, that's what you want to do. And when I say works best for you, it's not only mechanically, but wallet-wise. If you don't want to spend the money on a bunch of release papers and stuff, don't. You probably have something in your kitchen, or you may have something in your kitchen that can help you, whether it be the parchment paper or, like I said, the silpat. Okay, so like I've talked about, there is no wrong or right way to work with your canvas. All of these things are completely optional, obviously, but now I'm going to work on my canvas from left to right, just because that's how I'm used to writing and reading and whatnot, and then I'm going to slowly move up as I complete the rest of this, and I do that to stay off of any drills that I've placed. Now, when I push this up on my desk, continue pushing up on my desk, I have enough room between my desk and the wall that I can put the diamond painting around, and it will continue to go down, and there's nothing back there that will hurt my diamond painting. And I do that again because I work on very large canvases. You may not have that ability to do something like that. So what you would do is you could just roll your diamond painting that you finished. You can roll it. As you are working on it, you can use some type of clamp. Here's one that I use, these little clips, and clip it in and make sure it doesn't unroll. There are also canvas clamps, I think there is like the technical term for it. And I'm looking for one. I had one around here somewhere. But it's basically, oh, here's one. Now this is very big for this project, but you basically slip it over, and then it'll hold your painting sort of rolled up. Okay, obviously this is a very small painting. It's not going to have much in there, but you can get these from 3D printed shops for the most part. A lot of them have those. Okay, and I think that's what you want to know about working with your canvas. Now, just in general, since this is poured glue, and I know that because it has a clear plastic cover on it as opposed to a white opaque cover, that would be referred to as double-sided adhesive, where that's literally a sheet of glue that they're placing down on the paper. This glue is rather forgiving, so you feel free to bend it, move it, whatever you need to do. Once you have drills on the canvas, obviously be a little bit more ginger with it, especially for the first day or so while they're still curing in the glue. If you ever roll a painting with diamonds on it, you roll it diamonds out, because if you roll it the other way, you're actually crowding the diamonds and they're more prone to pop off. And that sounds very against the grain. Like, I would put them together, aren't I? Like, when I'm putting them out, aren't I making them pop off this way? But it actually, I've seen it happen if you roll them with it in, they get too crowded. Whereas when you roll it out, there's actually creates a little bit more space for them, and it works out very well. So you have this on your table, you're going to be working on it. Let's say you need to put this away because you work on your dining room table and it's dinner time, or you want to get out another canvas and work on it. So what do you do with the canvas as you are working on it, but you want to put it away for a little bit? You can, again, roll it, put it back in the box. You can roll it and put the roller, diamond painting roller sleeve over it and just keep it rolled up and set it off to the side. Or what I do is I have pants hangers that have the little clamps on them. They look actually sort of like this. And I then clamp the hanger to it, and then I hang it up on a small garment rack that I have. And then I have all my whips hanging out in front of me, and it works out well for me. But again, you're going to do what works best for you in the space that you're in. So I think that's, if this were to be the double-sided adhesive, you just want to be a little bit more ginger with it when you're bending and whatnot, because you can create what's called a river, where the glue starts to separate from the image a little bit, and it has like a river of air. And then what you need to do is you need to slice the glue with your X-Acto knife and get it pushed down back onto the canvas. So it's something like, putting the plastic back over it and just running it over like this, okay? But everything else for the most part is the same between the two glues. I know that double-sided adhesive is seen as the old, not as good glue. It is very good glue still. It is more cost-effective than poured glue. So some of especially your very large paintings, sometimes companies will say, nope, we do the double-sided adhesive. And quite honestly, I have never had, let me rephrase that, I haven't had since a number of years ago, like when I first started diamond painting 6-7 years ago, yeah, there was a lot of rivers, there were a lot of bubbles, you had stuff to deal with. The couple times I've worked with double-sided adhesive now, I don't have those problems. So I think they've improved the technology or the way that they apply the glue. All right, so at this point, you are ready to go. You have your drills kitted up however you'd like to do that. You have your canvas ready to go. You have your, whether you sectioned with the washi tape or if you're sectioning with the release papers, and then you're just gonna, of course I would have removed this plastic. You peel off this paper and you work on it. and then you peel off this paper, you work on it. If you're going to bed and you haven't quite gotten done, I usually stick it the best that I can, and then I put something on top of it, whether it's the tray that I'm using, or I may even give out a cover minder and make sure that this stays down so that it doesn't blow off and expose the glue field. So I hope this has helped. Next time we'll go through the toolkit, and I want to talk specifically about things that I would recommend you upgrade to make your diamond painting experience more enjoyable. But again, it is completely optional, because if you're just getting into the craft, you're not sure that you want to do the craft long term, you're going to use what's in that toolkit until you figure out, okay, I want to do this, and gee, I want to upgrade something. But we'll talk about potential upgrades from your standard toolkit. So I hope this has helped. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. Make sure to give me a thumbs up and like the video. I would appreciate that. If you know of anybody who's new to diamond painting, please for sure share the Diamond Painting 101 series with them. Feel free to come back and put any additional questions you may have down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. But other than that, I will speak to you next time we are speaking of diamonds. Have a good one.